It's a brand new week, new beginnings. As we step into this brand new week, we embrace the possibilities, challenges, and opportunities that lie ahead. People's Voice is your platform for stories, voices, and perspectives that shape our nation, Nigeria, and whether it's news, community highlights, or discussions on issues that matters most to the people, you and I, we are here to amplify the voices, prioritize facts and context, and of course, impact our coverage, ensuring that you are equipped with stories in the news that matters most to you and your community to keep you updated and speak your mind. I mean, most of the conversations are on your mind are what we are here to amplify. It's a beautiful new week, so yes, it's People's Voice. Let's know what's on your mind and let's do this together. My name is Adefunke Jaisimi. On the show today, we'll begin with some of the key developments in Nigeria's political landscape. Yes, the Senate's one suspended lawmaker, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. The Senate has warned the suspended lawmaker, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, against forcefully resuming her duties on Tuesday, despite claims she might return based on a court judgment. Chairman Yemi Adaramodu emphasized there was no valid court order mandating her to return to the Senate before a suspension ends. This warning underscores the Senate's commitment to uphold legislative procedures and respect due processes. But on the part of context and court ruling and contempt penalties, the Federal High Court in Abuja found Akpoti-Uduaghan guilty of contempt related to her conduct during a plenary session, which is a case that has been raised by the Senate, saying that the penalties, which include 5 million naira fine payable to the federal government and a mandatory apology in 2 national newspapers and on a Facebook page, has not been done, and these were part of the issues that were raised in court on the day of the judgment. The Senate argues that despite being on appeal and filing a motion for stay against these orders, Akpoti-Uduaghan's attempt to return based on that at this point is just right to do what is right. We saw what the judgment was. Whether there was a specification, interpretations will always be around, I mean, the way it favors each party, but one thing was certain. The need to pay that fine was clear in that judgment, and the need to also make a public apology, but we've not seen any of this. Tomorrow is Tuesday, and we sincerely hope that we don't make a mess of processes and the situation in the country right now. We should do things that would uphold our values and respect our offices. Let's talk about retired police officers who are protesting for better benefits. So in Abuja, retired police officers are protesting at the National Assembly and blocking the entrance to the Nigeria Police Force headquarters, demanding improved retirement benefits. The Nigeria Police Force warns against attempts by certain individuals to hijack the peaceful protest, emphasizing the legitimacy of the retirees' demands while cautioning against disruption or disorder. But yes, on his part, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has expressed commitment to personally address the protesting retired police officers. Arrangements have been made for the IGP to meet with them at the Peacekeeping Hall, Force Headquarters, Abuja. This move signals an effort to resolve issues through dialogue. But yes, a lot of people have said that, well, what was the IGP what was the IGP supposed to say? I mean, no matter how long the IGP enjoys his position as IGP, he can't remain in the force for as long as he has been, and one day he's going to be retired too. But there are people that are also saying that, oh, now policemen were not really too olam before they retire. They are the ones on the street. But either ways, I think that it is fair that we do things the right way. If they are calling for a review in what they earn and their pensions, it is very important. It is sad to see people serve Nigeria with their strength and mind, and at the end of the day have to go on the street to get what is due. That's sad to say. But there's another story which is from Farouk Perogi, who has apologized to Aisha Buhari. US-based Nigerian academic and columnist Farouk Perogi apologized to former First Lady Aisha Buhari over a controversial Facebook post, claiming she divorced her husband, former President Muhammadu Buhari. He described the post as one of the worst and cruelest lapses of judgment, admitting it caused profoundly painful consequences despite being, the apology to me doesn't sound real, because yes, in one word you're saying that it's wrong for you to have done that at that time. Then another time, at another point, you're saying that yes, your source, there's no way your source could have been false. I mean, releasing such statement at a time like that is very, very insensitive. But whatever that apology is supposed to do, that's between him and who is apologizing to. But still, on politics, ADC membership around new defectors and all, the ADC, African Democratic Congress, has noted that former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi and former Kaduna Governor Nasir El-Rufai were granted permission to resolve party issues before officially joining ADC. This is as a response to people that are asking that where exactly is Peter Obi now and why has he and Nasir El-Rufai not picked the ADC tags yet. But there are also reports that the former minister Chibike Amechi is expected to join the ADC soon after resigning from the ruling All Progressives Congress. Over the weekend, we saw the constitutional review, and reports have it that governors differ on their views on this review. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma advocated for creating at least 2 additional states in the southeast to address the underrepresentation during a constitutional review hearing. On his part, Abia State Governor Alex Oti emphasized that good governance over creating new states, but supported state police and free universal basic education in the Constitution. Both governors highlighted the need for an inclusive constitution reflecting Nigeria's diversity. So these are some of the stories, some of the biggest stories in the news so far. And as we explore these stories and more, we'd like to hear from you. We want to know what you think about the stories and which of the stories is the biggest for you. Join the conversation, call in or text us through our number 090-447-32605. 090-447-32605 is the number to call via WhatsApp. And you can also follow us on social media at VOP TV Live. You can use the hashtag People's Voice on VOP TV. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People TV. And kindly hit the subscribe button, and together we can make our voices heard. That's all for now. We'll be going on a break now, and when we return, we'll talk about allegations of 80.2 billion naira fraud against the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, and the court's rejection of the request for a medical trip abroad. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to People's Voice on VOP TV. It's time to delve into Yahaya Bello's passport request denial. So, a federal high court in Abuja has declined Yahaya Bello's request for the release of his international passport to travel to the United Kingdom for medical treatment. This decision was made because the medical report submitted by Bello wasn't signed by its author. Justice Emeka Nwete ruled that an unsigned document carries no weight in law and is considered worthless. There are some key points have been highlighted from this ruling, and the first is the unsigned medical report. According to Justice Nwite, he emphasized that that's part of the document which is not signed, as the Exhibit B, lacks probative value and can't be relied upon by the court to grant Bello's request. He also talked about no abuse of court processes. The judge disagreed with the prosecution's argument that Bello's application constituted an abuse of court process, noting that Bello was granted bail in both the Federal High Court and the FCT High Court in Abuja. There's also conversation around the bail conditions and the trial status, where it's been said that Bello is standing trial before the Federal High Court and the FCT High Court, and the case has been adjourned to October 7 for continuation of the trial. So, yes, there's the court's reasoning. Justice Nwite stated that the FCT High Court had ruled Bello must seek leave of the court for such application. So here's the background on the case of Yahaya Bello. The former governor of Kogi State is being prosecuted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, on charges of allegedly laundering 80,246,470,088 naira only. That only is quite important, just so you know how much money it is purportedly belonging to Kogi State. The charges are part of an ongoing investigation into financial dealings during Bello's tenure as governor. You know, when you hear figures like this, you begin to wonder, what's the population of Nigeria? If we don't have to depend on government, can you maybe just tell us to be on a straight line and probably just give everybody maybe 10 billion? I mean, it might just be the way to go, because to what end, what exactly are politicians about when they carry out this evil act. I call it evil act because if you campaign on the basis of being interested in uplifting the lives of citizens, which is supposed to be done through protecting their lives and, of course, investing in their welfare, how then do we leave offices and there's always cases of stolen funds, fraud? You know, sometimes it's diversion of funds into companies that are owned by themselves or family members. And at the end of the day, it just feels like it's a circle. At the end of the day, it's never about whether you are old or young. Something is just basically wrong with office holders in Nigeria. But yes, it's never a one-man show on People's Voice. To answer questions around the genuineness of the health claim and the dynamics of Nigerian politicians potentially undermining justice and accountability is VOP TV in-house senior analyst, Mr. Dele Fanimo. Good afternoon, Mr. Fanimo.
Good afternoon, Adefunke. I'm happy to be here with you.
It's always a pleasure to have you because I don't think there's any better person I would like to have this conversation with than you. So we've seen this because I mean you've been a reporter over the years. You are a journalist with experience, and I'm sure that a lot of things that we talk about now just feels like a repetition of things that have been, but just in new dimensions. So what implications does the denial of BELLO'S passport request have on his ability to seek medical treatment abroad? And was the health claim genuine, or was it a strategy to gain travel freedom? We know, like I said earlier, we know we've heard this, like since I was a child, there's always been cases of having health issues the moment they are being asked questions around about what they did in office and how monies were being spent.
Yahaya Bello, the actor.
Yahaya Bello.
The actor.
I forgot to say congratulations to him. He actually took a fourth wife in a private ceremony over the weekend.
He needs to have a honeymoon.
I mean, in the midst of, because his defense is saying that, oh, he has a history of hypertension for over 15 years and it's no longer news. But I don't even want to go, I don't want to take it personal, and I don't want to go into the infrastructure they say they build while in office.
You see, let's extray the sudden surge in his health issues. Since this man left office, he has been involved in one theatrics or the other.
Right.
He became elusive that EFCC, he went into EFCC and came out without being challenged. Hours after, they said they are looking for him. I want to liken him to Anini.
Really?
At some point in Nigeria, Anini became so invincible that if you get to a roadblock, all you need to do to disperse the policemen on the roadblock is to say, I understand that Anini will be passing through the place in the next 5 minutes. Nobody will wait for the van that brought them. Everybody will scamper to safety. Until Anini was demystified and was caught. At the end of the day, you know, when they said, well, being tied to stake, they said, what was his last wish? You know what he said?
What?
Somebody who has been killing people, has been killing policemen, and showing that he is invincible. He said, I am afraid to die.
He's really afraid to die. But really, people should be able to live up with the consequences of their actions.
You see, because the system does not allow you. The system does not even permit it. Everybody does whatever he or she wants, and then the system gives that leeway for them to escape justice. And so, you will keep having a rehash of people like this. You're talking about being denied visa, his passports, so that he can go
for his passport that he wanted to go for.
This was a man that is still standing trial in court, accused of stealing
over 80 billion.
The patrimony of, that's just one out of the two cases.
Yeah.
There's another one that is over 100.
True.
And he went back to that same community.
And he was celebrated.
And they held a rally for him. He was dancing and they were saying ta 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 ta. That is his slogan. Now he got to court. Of course, he needed to have a new freedom that will be, he wants to escape the prying eyes of the locals, enjoy himself with the new bride, you know, go shopping, making her feel good. This man, when he was the governor of Ogun State, I had an encounter with him about 2 times. And in Abuja, I can't remember the name of the street now. He used to have 2 wives then. That was between 2018, 2019, shortly before the COVID. Every of these 2 buildings had full complement of security, replica cars, that you need a trusted aid to be able to locate where he is between these 2 houses.
Wow.
I first went to Lokoja. When I got to the state secretariat, it was like the workers had gone on strike for more than 2 years. Yes, they were in the office. Only skeletal functions.
Yeah, he spent more of his time in Abuja.
You understand? And the place was so unkempt, you couldn't even imagine that this. I went to a commissioner's office. When you say a commissioner's office, by the standard of an office, is not better than a clerical officer's office. That was how it is. Now,
the health part.
He left government. At that time, he was not going abroad.
He was probably going abroad, but it wouldn't make news. I mean, if he was supposed to fly without having to take his passport from the court, we probably wouldn't have known what his movement would be like.
The man is just playing games. Are you telling me that the corrupt system cannot provide him another passport? If he wants another passport, his name can get him a passport in Nigeria Republic, YAHAYA BELLO. It's a Muslim name. Can get it in Chad. Can get it in Mali. Can get it anywhere.
So are you saying there's no credibility whatsoever in our
He just wants to play to the gallery. And very soon, maybe in the next appearance, he may faint in court.
Because the next appearance is in October.
He will likely faint in court.
Because they didn't allow him travel.
Because they didn't allow him travel.
Okay.
You remember the man that said when they were probing him, NDDC acting MD, when they were probing him, you know how he fell in court. 30 minutes later, a video of him enjoying himself with his friends came up. So, for me, this is just a clear case of impunity taken too far.
Would you say that this is happening because of his membership with the ruling party or his person? You've talked about how you tried to do some things in Kogi State and what the state was at the time, and of course, having his wives in Abuja and the kind of life they were living then. Naturally, well-meaning Nigerians would have said or are saying that this guy does not have any place within the corridors of power. He might not be able to win any elections or have any political value. But the truth is, this is Nigeria. With this EFCC cases all over him, and I mean, we saw the video where he was in his community and the people were still applauding him. So it still feels like this is somebody that will single-handedly still give them candidate, that this is the person going to the House of Assembly or probably the Senate, or become a godfather in the state so much that he has to
already
continue.
A godfather.
I mean, that's I said, so much that he has to continue to choose who leads what position in the state. How do you think these EFCC charges of money laundering may impact Bello's political and public life in Nigeria? And do Nigerian politicians like Bello use their influence to undermine justice and accountability in such cases?
You see, we have seen cases like this in the past that will just be discarded or abandoned midway. The only people that get conviction among these governors are people that probably fell out of their party, and maybe they injured the interest of a particularly strong person in that political party, or they just found themselves in a party that is no longer the ruling party. So they will likely go to jail because they also want to use it as optics for fighting corruption.
Right, to serve as deterrent.
Yes. So, but you see, in all of this, I feel very uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable because this kind of thing shouldn't be. How long does it take to try a case of embezzlement, corruption? It doesn't take time. Ibori was playing tricks with our EFCC here. They gave him over 130 charges, and after the whole exercise, they said he's free, that he has no case to answer. But Scotland Yard investigated him in UK. They picked him up, I think, in one of these Asian countries, brought him,
prosecuted him,
and they gave him only 13 charges. By the second appearance, his lawyer, a Queen's Counsel, equivalent of our own son here, advised him that, look, this evidence against you is too overwhelming. If you continue with this trial, you'll get longer sentence. So it's better you admit guilt. And he admitted, and was given 9 years. The same, meanwhile, he didn't offend Britain because it wasn't Britain's money that he took.
It was our money.
It was our money. We have seen in this country that people from a particular state will tell you that our money no loss. Ibori was standing trial in UK, and the Delta people were saying our money is not missing. Right. Meanwhile, when he got convicted and they retrieved some of these monies, they paid to federal government. They went back again to say,
it was their money.
It was their money. Person with money no loss. How can you claim money? So this is to tell you the kind of aberration. In fact, I, as a person, have lost confidence in the EFCC. But I think ICP is trying a little to make Nigerians feel, okay, there is fight against corruption. But EFCC is a showman.
For ICPC, how much progress have they been able to make?
I can tell you silently.
I know that there are some, but they have much that they can't convince Nigerians that.
When you compare the convictions, you know why ICPC is not loud? ICPC deals with civil servants. You understand?
Right.
But these people, EFCC, they are supposed to deal with politically exposed people. But because of the money involved, I can count the number of people that have been jailed by ICPC. But how many of the politically exposed people? The few ones that have been jailed, I can tell you how they find themselves in jail. And as soon as they find themselves in jail and they retrace their step and beg the people they offended, they give them prerogative of mercy.
Has Emefiele not been able to beg the people he offended?
Oh no, that Emefiele's case is a different
Mr. Fariba, let's get away from that conversation. And let me ask you, I want to get your thoughts on this. What were the potential legal consequences for Bello if found guilty of the charges brought by EFCC? Like you said, this is just one part of the cases against him.
Yeah.
Could political connections also play a role in shaping the outcome of this case? Because if there's one over 80 billion, there's another over 100. I mean, what does it take to revamp the whole of Kogi State?
You see, let me tell you, cases are won and lost during police investigation. In this case, EFCC investigation.
Cases are won and lost during investigation.
During investigation.
Why did you say this?
Good. It is the evidence provided as a result of investigation that you push to the open court. The judge is not a magician. He's not a wizard or a witch that will know from seeing your face that you are actually stealing money or not. No. But you have to provide evidence. Scotland Yard provided evidence of houses Ibori bought by proxy or directly or through his wife, and they showed it. And
understanding what he's supposed to earn as an office holder, it doesn't
you
correlate.
You just oppose it with whatever business he claims to have been doing and all that. It is only in Nigeria that somebody will declare 1 trillion asset the day is to be sworn in to the Code of Conduct Bureau, and nobody investigates. They assume it is true. Because what the person is doing is anticipated.
But it might be true. Maybe
it is likely that I'm likely to be exposed to the point of stealing 1 billion after my tenure.
No, he might, on behalf of his entire community or the entire people that voted him, he might just put their resources and properties together and say that, oh, we've given it to him. And
asset declaration is asset owned by you,
that's
not even your wife.
I can't decide to give out. I mean, if I give it to you, it becomes yours.
No. Show me one person apart from Tinubu that faced trial over asset declaration.
So why did Tinubu face trial over asset declaration?
And you know now he was in opposition at that time.
I understand, but yes, it's funny and it's not funny at the same time, because these are matters that affect. You see,
this case will go the way of others. At best, Yahaya Bello knew at the time this thing was cooked up that he needed to pacify some godfathers. That was why he was running away. As soon as he sent a mystery to those ones and they are ready to forgive him, he had to show. And what they usually do is 3 days in detention.
Mr. Fanimo, you've talked about how things like this have happened in the past, and you're already projecting that it's likely to go that way. But could Bello's bail condition be affected by the court's decision on his passport request? And are there also concerns about politicians exploiting legal loopholes to evade accountability in Nigeria, understanding how things work?
There is no loophole in the Constitution. There is no loophole in the penal code or criminal code. There is no loophole anywhere.
No, I'm talking about legal loopholes.
That's what I'm telling you. There is no legal loophole.
Okay.
You see, the law is the law. But the point is...
Is it the law for some people and not for all?
Just wait. The law is the law for people. But those who are supposed to be enforcers are the ones manipulating the law for certain people, against certain people. It doesn't distract from the fact that that law remains constant.
So the law is the law.
Manipulation is what you see. It's not that the law is not capable of dealing with any offender.
So why do they continue to evade accountability?
Okay, now look at what they are playing out. The passport thing is just a showman.
So that's like prepping ahead of the October appearance. So maybe by October 7th
you will say because they didn't give him...
It might be wheeled into the courtroom.
Because that else might deteriorate before October.
Should probably deteriorate. But one will ask, like, don't we have medical facilities in Nigeria? I mean, every day in the news we see how projects are being unveiled. We see medical facilities of international standards. There was even one that was opened during Buhari's time that we even saw them even interview medical practitioners from across the consultants. Globe. So what exactly are these people doing? Do they employ them for picture's sake?
For the optics? Now let me tell you. This is 80.2 billion naira. Right.
80.2 billion.
Do you know that this money will build 2 world-class hospitals in Kogi? Because you don't need more than 30 billion to build a world-class hospital. The governor owns the land, so he can afford to take any land, remove the C of O, and then say, for public good, we want to site this hospital here. Technically, government is not paying. Right. Now, the structure, you don't need gigantic building to build half of Oshodi to have a world-class hospital. It is the equipment
and the personnel
that makes the world-class hospital. And if the equipment, you see, an average doctor with quality equipment will do a better job. Why are Nigerians running to this Saudi Arabia, UK? Because of the presence of high-tech facilities and technology-driven equipment. That is why they are running there. So we have some of the best doctors that are from Nigeria, that are practicing in US and they are excelling, that are practicing in UK, even as far as Australia, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait. Now, if half of this money had been deployed, half of other governors that have been here, that they were given either plea bargain or anything, if they had deployed what they have stolen, into establishing this world-class hospital, I can tell you today, people will be coming for medical tourism. Do you know that there's a flow now? Some doctors that have practiced, that have excelled, now they are coming back in retirement to Nigeria to establish hospitals. But what they do is, because they don't have the financial capacity to establish all-commerce hospital, their own specialization is what they will focus on. Hospital. You see an oncologist facing cancer and all that. You see a pediatrician facing children. You see gynecologists facing women and all that. Now, if individuals can set up state-of-the-art facilities in Nigeria, then what stops government from setting up these hospitals? One, you are saving foreign exchange. These people would have to bring their dollars. Right. And they are not going to pay for the hospital alone. The person that accompanied them to the hospital won't stay in the hospital. There will be a challenge that he will pay. Then food. There are some people that will be food vendors. There will be caterers that will be employed. So the multiplier effect of getting this money from whoever has stolen our money to do things that would help us in Nigeria is just far too much to contemplate. That is why anytime we are talking about corruption in Nigeria, let's not just talk about 80 billion, 100 billion, because it sounds so abstractual in the ears and eyes of Nigerians. Let's begin to interrogate what this money can do.
Maybe that will make more sense to Nigerians.
It will make more sense.
But let's take this final question on that topic. It's quite heartbreaking, heart-wrenching. I think there's no word to describe why you have high-profile corruption cases, and it just feels like a game. Before you say Jack Robinson, it's gone in the air. How does this case reflect the Nigerian judiciary's handling of high-profile corruption cases? And do Nigerian politicians sometimes play cards to influence judicial outcomes or undermine accountability mechanisms? Do they already know the end from the beginning, and has it become a standard?
No, you see, like I said, if you meet a judge privately today, that how is it impossible for these people to get convicted for this crime against their people? They will tell you that they acted based on the
evidence
facts present to them. That is why I said, until we have security agencies that are ready to prosecute the way they should prosecute, we would always be having this kind of rubbish. I covered judiciary when I was a young reporter. I've sat in a court that a judge, when she was reading judgment in a case of murder, the judge said, as part of the judgment, that look, I know that you actually committed this offense, but the evidence provided, the evidence before me is saying contrary, because I don't have anything to nail you. But between you and God and me, you committed this offense. But what I have here is saying I should discharge and acquit you. But I discharge you and I quit you. But you wait for God's judgment. What does that tell you? It shows that the case file was doctored from the police station. And the woman cannot fabricate what is not presented to her. So it's the same thing.
Okay, it's really unfortunate if you ask me. I mean, even if you don't ask me, I'm going to say it as it is. It's unfortunate because transparency in high-profile cases is becoming a nightmare and almost an impossibility. And it feels like it's not possible to ensure accountability in cases involving prominent
to interrupt you.
Politicians.
Can the Yahoo boy come to EFCC headquarters, stroll in, and they know that it's the one they are looking for, and then he will stroll out.
Depending on the
kind and then 3 hours later, he will say, we are looking for the Yahoo boy. Depending on the kind
of money he has, Mr. Fanimo. There are levels to this Yahoo boy thing, trust me, but that's beyond me right now. Okay. Also, it's unfortunate that the checks on political influence and financial influence too is a major problem, and these mechanisms continue to affect and prevent Nigerian politicians from getting the right judgments when they commit crimes. It's sad. It's really, really sad. But we'll go on a break now. When we return, we'll come to analyze the political dynamics in southwest Nigeria, focusing on Osun State and particularly the dancing governor, Governor Ademola Jackson Adeleke. We'll be back shortly. Glad to have you stay with People's Voice on VOP television this beautiful day. And yes, the political landscape in southwest Nigeria, particularly in Osun State, is described as tense, with the drum of war being fiercely beaten. That's what they say. Osun State's political friction is notable due to defections and carpet crossing, which has become a norm. Feels like every new day, before you say good morning to someone, you need to check the headlines to see what's happening within the political class in Osun State. But yes, this is affecting the political fabric and potentially impacting the APC's victory chances, according to speculations. But yes, the Governor Ademola Adeleke's governance has faced allegations of mismanagement of public funds, favoritism towards the people of Ede, his own people, and oppression of others. These factors are, according to reports, contributing to divisions among the people of Osun State, with several prominent figures leaving the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Osun State, citing issues with the Adeleke's regime. There's also concern about APC's strategy in this context. There's a risk that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu could become a hostage of his own political dexterity if he doesn't handle the situation carefully, considering the coalition of ADC and the former governor, Rauf Aregbesola, who was a very close family to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But yes, there is the conversation around key ethnic and political consideration in Osun State, with people saying that Osun State is a state that comprises of components like Ifes, Ujeshas, Oyos, BELLO'S, and Igbominans. And these groups are mutually sensitive in political gerrymandering. Yes, the Governor Adeleke, on his part, also has an Igbo mother, and there are potential implications of cultural bigotry in political maneuvering. People have talked about the sentiments towards the Igbo region having a mother and wife who is Igbo, but I think what is most important is the position he holds and how he's been able to serve the people. And politicians with stories around private lives and history, you know what they say, Mr. Fadimo, that if you want to know the history of your family or more, just get into politics. But yes, there are conversations around potential risk and considerations too, with miscalculations in political strategies, which could embolden opposition coalitions and impact APC's position in Osun State. There's a suggestion that Adeleke's camp could consider joining APC after the August 8, 2026 Osun election if it supports Bola Ahmed Tinubu's presidency. But yes, let's analyze the political dynamics in Osun State, southwest Nigeria. I still have with me in the studio Mr. Dele Fanimo. Mr. Dele Fanimo, you know, I was talking about the dancing governor and I saw the reaction on your face. I mean, it feels like, yes, our governor keeps dancing everywhere, but it doesn't seem like everybody in Osun State is dancing. But let's talk about the defections in PDP, from PDP to other parties now. How might this defection impact the political landscape in Osun State and APC's chances? We saw over the weekend 2 senators defected already. I mean, what's happening?
To APC.
To APC, yes, to APC. And Governor Adeleke has said that he is not decamping.
Let him say that. The game is between Deji and Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Mr. Fadima, why are you reiterating what other analysts have said? You know, over the weekend, I continue to follow this story.
Well, that is the truth.
And people, it feels like it's not even about the governor.
Demola is a placeholder in governance in Ekiti. I mean,
Osun State.
He's a placeholder.
Sherubawon, yeah.
Is the original owner of that ticket. But suddenly he died, and they had already secured that ticket for the family. Somebody has to be there for the family. That's why he's there. You recall that when he won that election, what did he do? The first person he went to was Deji. And lying flat like a python.
But that was the first thing Fubara did in Rivers State too, until...
Was Yoruba. The only governor that he also did that was when Akala, against all odds, was favored by Aredibu and he won an election.
And he had to go and do justice.
He has to do. So
you think it's about Deji and the president now? Does it have anything to do with that visit?
Don't worry yourself. It's a done deal. When I was telling people about Umar, that his crossover to APC is done deal, they said, you see, politics is hard facts. But when you now begin to factor sentiment, emotion, and conspiracy theory, you are wasting your time. For you to fight an enemy, you must put yourself in the shoes of that enemy. And that's one mistake some politicians make. Just that I don't have any love for politics.
I think I'm sponsoring you.
If I go into politics, I would calculate and my calculations will be right. You don't put sentiment. You must think like a politician before you can be a politician. If you think like a pastor and you say you are a politician, you are wasting your time. If you think like an activist, that no, this is the idea, this is the idea, you rot in politics. I have a friend that has been in politics in Ondo State for more than 2 decades now. The best they give him for every administration, when they want to mobilize, he's always head of mobilization. But when he wants to enjoy, they know he's an activist. So they will only give him culverts, drainage to do in 4 years, just to keep him afloat.
It was probably made for the...
This particular friend of mine is a lawyer. He has 2 degrees and all that. But now he has confined himself to farming.
Okay.
Now, you see, the truth about it is when the big masquerades want to leave the coven, the first sign that the big masquerade is ready is when you see the lesser known masquerade, the smaller masquerade, coming out to dance and prepare the ground for the big masquerade. So that everybody's appetite would have been, activated. Right, so as soon as the big masquerades come, what do you see?
Doesn't even have to do much. The ovation is already
So the senator, the only person that is trying to stop him is Oyetola. And Oyetola have been told, bros, just stay where you are. If I win second time, your blue economy ticket is still there.
Don't worry, we'll gather day. But let's go away from the Deji Bola Tinubu conversation. What role do you also think that ethnic sensitivities and cultural considerations play in the political maneuvering in Osun State? It's no longer news. A lot of people from Osun State have always been against the constant noise around Ede. Even his nephew Davido, there's always this noise about, they make other people feel less of themselves, as if it's about their Adeleke, as if Osun is Adelekes. And also there are conversations of not having a proper understanding of what the people are, not sharing the sentiment of the people because of his Igbo side.
That is rubbish as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Look, put Demola and Oyetola Adeleke, Demola Adeleke and Oyetola side by side, and Aregbesola. Aregbesola will be judged, according to my own opinion, is the worst governor that Osun ever produced. Then Oyetola took over from him.
Even that Aregbesola came after
Oyinlola. Oyinlola was on the average. Boda Rauf came and killed Osun State. In fact, no, he didn't kill, because if he had killed, there won't be revival. Send Osun State to ICU. But Oyetola came and tried to rescue, but the baby was still not breathing well.
They didn't give him the opportunity.
Demola came, perhaps maybe Locke smiled at him, and he was able to see improved funding. And when you are taking off from sub-zero If you get to 0, everybody will clap for you.
Right.
Because that's the minimum. But then somebody has taken it to sub-0.
Don't you think that he also enjoyed the benevolence of the people? I mean, at that time, it was...
So today, if you go to Osun and you bring up all these sentiments, some people will stone you, particularly retirees.
Some of the sentiments
and
are
civil servants.
Them too.
They will stone you. Because, okay, let him continue to dance. As long as he pays our salaries, as long as he pays our gratuity, as long as he pays our pension.
But the complaints around funding, mismanagement of funds and project delays in project and, I mean... Execution and the interference with the local government, you know, everything that happened around the elections and all. These are not conversations coming from people outside Osun State. They are conversations, I mean, there will always be opposition. But let me ask this last one because of time. Could Governor Ademola Jackson Adeleke's campaign joining APC after the 2026 Osun election be a strategic move? And what do you think this implication might have for him, the Osun people, and Bola Ahmed Tinubu's re-election? In 1 minute.
APC is a done deal for Adeleke. Very soon, he will cross. And if he crosses, he doesn't have too many enemies to contend with.
And if he doesn't cross?
Bros Adegbeshola had crossed to ADC. So he cannot come back to Osun to fight.
They were even throwing words at each other just last week.
Oyetola is a nephew to the president. He can always be called and say, look, this guy has come to our heaven and he has been declared sinless. So stay where you are.
It's the sinless for me. But what if he doesn't kill the camp?
He will decamp. You see, when I was saying Umar will decamp, they say, no. He will decamp. You saw the way the president was all over him when he went to Aso Rock to visit. He doesn't have a choice. You need to know the connect between Deji Adeleke and Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I deliberately said Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I didn't say President Tinubu. So it dates back to many years ago. So you now tell me, politics, you are talking about other people. George Bush came. His son came after him. America did not born.
Right. So it's other people and the Adelekes. Well, quite understandable, but yes, we have to separate politics from emotions. But either way, the ball is in the court of the Osun people to decide if they are enjoying the administration and if not. And many people have also said that, oh, for opposition, those that were working against APC and those working against PDP will now have to work together now and become colleagues.
There is a coalition.
There's a coalition in Osun. A coalition bounded by blood. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Fanibo, for doing this. I mean, this is the brightest way that we could have started a new week. To our viewers, thank you so much for being a part of the show. We appreciate your time and trust us to bring you more conversations that will continue to amplify your stories and perspectives and the major stories in the news as it relates and affects you. My name is Adefunke Jaisimi, and until next time, I strongly believe in this project Nigeria. Nigeria will be great again. Good afternoon.